How do we learn to solve our own problems? That is the question for today. That is the question for number 114 on the list of the 144 fractal faculties of the Tree of Life. If you'd like to get a complete listing there, it's really like abstracts of all 144, a few sentences about each one. Just leave your email address in the comment section, and I will send that out to you for free. If you'd like to pay for a copy of my book called The MASSTree, which is a short book on the Tree of Life, an introduction, it's like 65 pages. Send me $10 on Cash App or Venmo, and I'll send that to you. If you put that in the memo, what you're paying, what you're sending me money for, and your email address. Also, if you just like to bone up on your Tree of Life understanding, just watch my video called Tree of Life, an Introduction. It's just 10 minutes, and that should get you prepared to watch all 144 of these videos in the series. Okay, now today we're looking at number 114. And just keep in mind the Tree of Life is a map of our consciousness. And the Tree of Life has 12 of these circles or spheres, numbered 10 through 0. And then we also have an abyss right here for a total of 12. And each one of those 12 circles or spheres is an aspect of our consciousness. So the whole thing is a map of our consciousness. Each one is an aspect of that consciousness or a faculty of that consciousness. And today, for number 114, we are centered up here in the second sphere. So the second sphere is about omniscience, or all-knowing, or wisdom. So this is our wisdom faculty. This is our ability, our wisdom faculty, which boils down to our ability to solve all our problems. Omniscience is not that you know everything. You do not know how many drops of water are in the Pacific Ocean. But you may be able to grasp that through our psychic powers. That may be something that you could achieve if you thought that was worth it. But for the wisdom faculty, this is our ability to solve all the problems in our life that arise in our life. Not only that, but also to be able to anticipate those problems before they even happen, and to be able to stop it before it even becomes a problem. And then also to be able to solve problems for other people that you may come in contact with. Okay, so the wisdom faculty, omniscience, is one of our 3 divine faculties here. 3 being omnipotence, all-powerful, 2 omniscience, all-knowing, and 1 omnipresent, all-present, everywhere at once, eternally. And so those are, at the top of the tree. And the second sphere, the wisdom faculty, our ability to solve problems, comes from our ability to shut down our mind. Our mind is a limiting factor in all of our dealings. Our mind it orients us. It gives us the status quo. It tells you where you are, how you stand, what you're doing, and it's always limiting you by saying, that's impossible, you can't do that, that's not within your capabilities, you don't know how to do that, that's scary, that's requiring too much. And this is the voice of the eighth sphere. And again, like it's the voice. And the eighth sphere is our logical thinking, concrete logical thinking faculty. It takes things and puts them into categories based on their concrete, superficial qualities. But at the second sphere, it's not about thinking, it's about not thinking, about calming our mind to the point that our mind becomes like a body of water that is completely calm. It becomes transparent and you can see through the mind. And when you're able to see through the mind, you can see all the way to the bottom. And at the bottom or at the center is our higher self, which is everywhere, which is at the center of everything. And that image that we see, this is the side of seeing, the image that we see is the answer to our problem. Okay. And whereas at the A-sphere, if we come at the problem from an A-sphere standpoint, we are always going to be beset with unintended consequences. That's actually number 34 on the fractal faculty number 34, which is the inverse. It's the the second fractal of the eighth sphere. So it's the second, mini aspect of the eighth sphere here. But here at number 114, we're more talking about solving a problem and not creating any type of externalities. No other problems arise. There's no Hydra problem here at the second sphere. It's a completely encompassing solution. Okay, now that is the gist of the second sphere. And the second sphere is one of our 12 faculties of consciousness. But to get from 12 to 144, as I said, you basically are taking the whole tree to the second power. And so what you're doing is you're taking the whole tree and boiling it down to a smaller size and then applying it to each sphere. So you break down the 10th sphere into its 12 parts. You break down the 9th sphere into its 12 parts, and so on. And so you break down the second sphere into its 12 parts. So there's a mini 10th sphere and a mini 9th sphere and a mini 8th sphere and so on within this greater structure of the second sphere, which is omniscience. So within wisdom, wisdom breaks down into its 12 faculties. And today we're talking about the fifth fractal within the second sphere. Okay, so go over to the fifth sphere. What's the fifth sphere about? The fifth sphere is about our sense of justice, our sense of fairness, the law of karma. As you sow, so shall you reap. What comes around goes around. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And you can think of the fifth sphere as like a mirror. When a free will actor is acting from the sixth sphere, the actions come back to them. As you sow, so shall you reap. And so this is our, and this is, a higher version of this A sphere, where the A sphere takes concrete, superficial characteristics of things and puts them into categories based on those superficial characteristics. The fifth sphere also takes things apart. It's called analysis, but it takes those things apart based on their internal characteristics or their deeper characteristics, or really their function, as opposed to their external characteristics. Okay, so those are different aspects that come into play here at the fifth sphere that will also be calculated here at number 114 when we're looking at the fifth fractal of the second sphere. And that is called Transrational, or beyond the rational. Stage number 114 is about how the fantastical, mind-blowing world of 3D time, of the second sphere, can appear so irrational, but it still adds up empirically and is slowly comprehensible. To unearth wisdom, we must concentrate on one thought for as long as is required. We must ignore thoughts that drift in, and also remember to ignore the habitual impulse to exert the will in directing and generating thought activity. Stay on the sensate level and stay off content. Solve problems by doubting qualities within things. Qualities are nothing more than projections of our own consciousness, our own conditioning onto a thing. So tower over thought, elevate the focus of our consciousness above the sphere of thought manifestations. Be a disinterested spectator to the procession of thoughts. Ignoring of thoughts, letting them come and go without expressing interest in them or directing them, is deactivating the will, inhibiting the will's function of grasping and directing thoughts. We must ignore that impulse to exert the will in directing thought activity. When seeking wisdom or counsel, we must give up our own logical rationalization of the status quo. Once we get the reading needs to be carried out with zeal. That was our part of the deal before we agreed to the reading. We have learned to solve problems by doubting qualities within things. Qualities such as beautiful, frightening, disgusting, depressing, uplifting, etc., can be resolved from within when we doubt the quality and focus on the state of our spirit in relation to that thing. These qualities don't really exist. They are projections of our own consciousness, and we are merely projecting onto the object, but we can learn to stop, or at least doubt the projection. Wisdom from omniscience is esoteric, but it is also objective. It is beyond our rational faculties, but we can also measure it. It comes out of nowhere, but we can verify it through details and facts. It is supra-rational. It still adds up. Wisdom transcends studying, researching, thinking, reasoning, and all possible forms of using the mind. It is not using the mind and going direct to wisdom, free of symbols. Okay, that is number 114 on the list of the 144 fractal faculties, beyond the rational, the fifth fractal of the second sphere. One thing that's kind of a follow-up on number 113 that I didn't mention is that, to be able to shut our mind down like that requires a great deal of discipline. Anybody who's tried meditating knows that your mind wanders, your mind drifts, your thoughts drift all the time. And when you meditate, say if you're trying to, pay attention to your breathing in and out, you will find that your mind drifts off from that, many times per minute. And you have to kind of bring your mind back, and then it drifts off again, and you bring it back. And, in order to be able to pay attention, even for just 1 minute, to your, breathing, requires a very advanced meditator. somebody who's been working at it for a while. And so this wisdom faculty requires way more than 1 minute of shutting your mind down. I mean, it requires an hour, probably minimum an hour to do that. And so it's kind of out of the range of most people. Most people don't have this wisdom faculty opened up, and most people are never going to have this, or at least I won't say never, but not in this lifetime, won't have this wisdom faculty. I mean, it requires pretty much a lifetime of dedication to get to that point. And so for the average person, we have what's called the surrogate wisdom faculty, which is the oracle or the divination system, or even just the wise counsel of an elder. And that comes in here at this this line here between the sixth sphere, which is our free will faculty, our ability to pay attention and to make decisions. And again, here the will, function of the will is directing thought activity, and the second sphere. So at the sixth sphere, we have the question, and we use the proper tarot deck of cards, or the cowrie shells, or whatever random chance process that we're using as the oracle or the divination system, and we ask of the system, and then we get an answer depending on the reading. So the idea is that you roll the dice. As you roll the dice, as the dice are in the air, the creator of the universe, our higher self, takes control of those dice and puts them down in a way to speak to you about the problem that you asked. And so that is like the surrogate elder. And so at the fifth, and that's number 113, the oracle function. But number 114 has to do with our really our agreement and our the necessity that we have, that if we agreed to that oracle function and we did that reading, it is now our obligation to follow the reading. And that's the difficult part, because a lot of times the reading will tell you things that you don't really want to hear, and it will set up solutions that are difficult for you to carry out. But that was your part of the deal, that if you got this reading, that you were going to carry it out. And so that is part of number 114 as well, that I alluded to there. Okay, thanks for tuning in to the video. If you'd like to get that free listing of the 144 fractal faculties, just leave a comment with your email address and your intention to get that freebie from me. And if you'd like to pay for a $10 book from me on the intro to the Tree of Life called the MASSTree, you can do that through Venmo or Cash App and leave a note in there. You can donate to me directly through Venmo and Cash App as well. Otherwise, stay tuned for future videos. In this series, number 115 will be coming out by tomorrow, and other videos will be on other subjects will be coming pretty soon. There'll be some great things happening on this channel. Really, once we get this foundation laid of the Tree of Life. The Tree of Life is the foundation because it not only because it's a great model for understanding the world that is non-dogmatic. It's just numbers and shapes, I suppose, and colors, and but it is also a great template, or a filing system that helps us to understand other subjects. So that's the main foundational thing about the Tree of Life, is it helps us to understand other subjects. Okay, so stay tuned, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day.